Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, June 6th, 2025 edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As a reminder, we operate under a code of conduct which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. To kick off the meeting here, we like to offer an opportunity for anyone on the call to introduce themselves, totally optional. I will go first because I like to use it as a way to introduce what the meeting is. Hello, I'm Caslin Fields, and I am a co-lead, co-subproject lead of this subproject, which is the Contributor Com subproject of the Special Interest Group for Contributor Experience in Open Source Kubernetes. The purpose of this group is to make sure that folks within the contributor community in Kubernetes know about stuff that's going on that they should know about, and also that folks outside of the contributor community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing, which we do through a variety of means, including running social media accounts for the project, writing blog posts sometimes, though there are issues with that, which we've discussed in previous episodes. Maybe go check those out. Hopefully, we won't dive into that today, and other stuff. And we'll talk through it today. And my pronouns are she, her. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional.
I can
Alrighty.
go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Hi everyone. My name is Arvind. Nice to be back here after a long time. I've been dabbling in the Kubernetes project for some time now, I think, and I got busy for the past few cycles due to my grad studies and stuff. And I'm currently on the release team as a docs shadow, and it's currently summer, so I have time. So here I am. Nice to meet you all.
Yay! Good to have you back. Excited to hear that you're on the release team too. We may
Yeah,
have
that's
questions for
awesome.
you.
Yeah, second cycle. I was on the previous 1.33 as a doc shadow as well. And managing that along with the grad studies got real difficult. So I couldn't join the ContribEx meetings.
Understandable. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? This is totally optional. Alrighty, we'll move on then. Another reminder that this meeting is very casual. If you missed the introductions and want to introduce yourself later or have a question at any point, please don't hesitate to ask. Last housekeeping item, I think, is note taking. We like to ask for a volunteer note taker for each meeting. The purpose or the role of the note taker is to follow along with the discussion and record notes in the document that I'm probably sharing. I think I'm screen sharing. I can't actually
No,
tell. Am I not?
no,
No,
you're not.
I'm not.
It's annoying that you can't tell that somehow.
Yeah. All right, there we go. I think there is like an indication that you are screen sharing, but it doesn't do the thing. I'm using the web client of Zoom, and it doesn't do the thing where it
Uh,
highlights the window anymore.
right.
And
Yeah.
that's very frustrating for me. But anyway, so the purpose of the role of the note taker is to follow along with the discussion and fill in notes in this document that I am sharing my screen uh, of. And the link to that is in the calendar invite and also in the chat. So that if anyone missed the meeting and they want to catch up by checking out the notes, they can do so. So does anyone want to be our note taker today?
Sorry, Caslin.
I can help out.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, please do. Thank you. And the reality is that it's, if you want to make sure that something is recorded, just pop it in there. All right, let's get started then with messages of the week. The purpose of this segment of the meeting is to go over what's going on in the Kubernetes community right now that folks need to know about, that we can post about on Last Week in Kubernetes development or on our social media channels. So there was an interesting, okay, that'll be in new items. release stuff is going on, that I know, but I don't know that we have anything to talk about with that yet. The shadow applications are closed, so the cycle is just getting kicked off. But I'm guessing that the timeline is solidified now, so we might want to check that out and make plans. Is that right, Arvin? Do you know if the timeline is set?
Um, I think it's mostly set. We just had our shadow onboarding call a few minutes ago today, right now. So I think in the next release team meeting, we'll be sure about what the deadline is.
Sounds good. So we should keep an eye on that. Cool. Any other things going on in the community that folks need to know about? That we know about? I guess KubeCon Japan is happening in basically a week.
Oh, wow.
So, woo! I
Yeah,
haven't
you're
set
going to
up.
that, right?
I am. I will be
Mhm.
there, so I can do some coverage from on site as needed. I could also do it in Japanese. um, I don't. I guess that we should put together some regular coverage. I hadn't even thought about that. We'll see if that happens. I have doubts. But definitely good to mention in LWKD. We should probably put that in messages of the week
Mm, probably.
rather than new items. Yeah, probably good for
Well, it
LWKD and
could be
social
both, to be
stuff.
honest. Yeah.
True. This is true because it is also we need to do stuff if we're gonna post socials about it. Anything else? Oh, there was a leads thing that I'll let you all know about, which is um, Mario sent out an email about contributor awards for KubeCon North America.
Oh.
There's nothing I don't think that we need to say about that at this point, but KubeCon
Mm,
North America cycles are starting.
I know.
Yeah,
Man. Okay. Well, the yikes.
agreed.
Sorry. Yeah.
I am on that boat with you. I have a week till KubeCon Japan, and I have 4 slide decks to make.
Yeah.
Possibly in Japanese. We'll see. Any other stuff going on in the community that folks can think of?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Are we still managing the comms for KubeCons with everything going on about Maintainers Summit and CNCF and stuff? So I'm
Yeah,
not really
Maintainer
sure.
Summit.
We had the sign up sheet where everyone schedules tweets. Is that
Mhm.
still happening for all the recent KubeCons?
It should. Ideally. I've
The
been
problem lately has been Cat won't do it at all.
yeah. I became a manager at the end of last year, and now I have lots of new responsibilities that I am juggling with everything.
I
So,
am also a manager now,
Oh,
and I have
congratulations.
yeah,
ridiculous
thanks.
crises.
So, yeah, that is the main reason things might not be happening as much as they should. But, um, yeah, the maintainer change to maintainer summit from Kubernetes contributor summit. Kubernetes contributor summit was always managed separately from maintainer summit. It technically had a separate lead, even though one of us usually handled it. Um, for maintainer summit, we also still need comms and stuff.
Mhm.
But that's just a change in how the CNCF runs the in-person contributor event at KubeCons. They own the budget for that, so. And I think it's nice to include other CNCF projects, being able to meet up in person and talk about contributory things. I haven't gotten to attend one yet, though. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, if you would like to help me out with social media and setting up that sheet for North America. Help welcome. We need to copy a previous version of the sheet, make sure it's up to date with the schedule for North America, which is not out yet because the CFP just finished. So it's hard to make the schedule before we
Oh,
have the
well, I didn't think of a talk in
schedule.
time, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's closed. Maintainer Summit is still open. If you would like
Yeah,
to if you're interested in the SIG ContribEx talk, we could talk about that.
thanks.
Um, yeah. So we need to set that up and start inviting people to it earlier rather than later, preferably. Let's check out when the KubeCon North America CFP. When does that? CFP is closed. Schedule announcement is July 30th, so the end of next month. We should be able to get that set up. And then Japan is coming up here in a week, and India is coming up August 6th and 7th. So we should probably get tweets going for that. If anyone wants to help welcome. I had plans earlier this year, ambitious plans to run a a mentoring cohort for social media, but I'm not going to be able to focus on that until after KubeCon Japan is done.
Right.
I would still like to do it though this year, so we could talk about that there. Thank you. Excellent note taking. Any other messages of the week or new items that folks can think of? Any requests for our team that have come in or anything?
Not that I can
Seen if
find. I closed. So after discussion with Navarone, I closed the request for a new Slack channel for YouTube admins. We'll just use SIG ContribEx because it's relatively quiet these days. But
that is
that was
very true.
all I had.
Cool. Sounds reasonable. I did see that discussion. Alrighty. And I still haven't heard anything about a maintainer summit for either Japan or India. I know that there's like some kind of big CNCF meetup event that's happening before KubeCon Japan. I'll
That
probably go
makes
to
sense.
that. Yeah, but I don't think there's really a maintainer summit per se. And I
For
know
Japan?
they're
Really?
yeah, for Japan. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
I mean, it's the first one. Figuring out the logistics
Oh,
of
well, yeah.
things.
Trying to establish common patterns, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
not too surprising, but yeah, hopefully next time. And I know for India, folks really wanted one. I don't know if they managed to sort one out though. Getting the space to run these things is expensive and difficult.
Mhm.
All right. So updates, big wins. Anything folks have been doing lately that they want to call out in updates and big wins? Honestly, I would accept things outside of contributor comms as well.
Ah, nice. I mean, I don't have anything, Castle.
Yeah, I don't have anything. 'Cause I've been super busy the last few weeks. Oh, so since I'm gonna be in Japan next week, that means I will not be here to run the meeting. That is an update. Does anyone particularly want to run the meeting? Always open to folks if anyone wants to run it.
I'm not even sure I'll be here next week, to be honest.
We might end up canceling then. I guess we can put out a
Yeah.
call on Slack to see if anyone wants to run it, and if they do, they're welcome to do so. We usually prefer to have one of us on if the runner hasn't done it before so that you have support.
Right.
So if anyone who's done it before wants to run it, then we can run it. But if not, then we might have to cancel next week. But also, just a general reminder, if anyone ever wants to try out running the meeting, you're always welcome. And thank you for the comment in chat about interest in helping out with social media. We need help. If only I could describe what needs to be done. Very difficult to take the time to do that. So I'll put that in updates. And I'm guessing that's about all we have for that. So we'll move into the board once I finish writing this. Keslin. Oh, that's bold. Noted. Moving into the board. Alrighty. We'll have a big board review today, hopefully. So let's start off with blocked and waiting, because that's a thing that exists now. So comms team lead, social media, comms team, social media lead, shadow structure. This is a doc that I've wanted to create for the shadowing program to better articulate a series of rough steps that folks should follow to gain the skills to become the social media lead. I have had ideas about that for like a year and haven't been able to get them down on a document. Like I said, I'm hoping to focus on this after KubeCon Japan. Keep me honest. We'll talk about it in a meeting after that.
Nice.
Notify comms team when a new issue is created. We did a little bit with that. If we ever find more ways to better notify our team when a new issue is created and to use our issue processes more effectively, that is always of interest. But we have no active items on that right now. Help Wanted Posts is a cool project at Maintainer Summit or Kubernetes Contributor Summits. Before we changed Maintainer Summits, we would have a little lightning talk section where SIG leads would talk about the help that they needed. We also try to keep Help Wanted information up to date for new contributor orientation calls. So if we ever had the bandwidth to do some social media posts about that, it is a little bit tricky to figure them out and post them in a timely fashion. But blocked and waiting. We're not particularly doing anything there. It's Chris's birthday?
Might be. That might have been why it puts June 6, 1980 in the notes.
Oh! Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, thank you, Mario and Avni.
One other thing, Keslin, please respond in the SIG ContribEx lead thing if you're coming to Atlanta and if I should send the thing out, the maintainer thing.
Okay,
And
I am planning to be there.
happy birthday, Chris. And
Thanks.
nothing else for now. I need to jump because I'm in another meeting.
All right. See ya. Thanks for popping in.
Bye.
I'll try to take a look at that later. Let me write that down before I forget that he asked me to do that.
Yes, please do.
Because I have the memory of a goldfish. Probably our maintainer track submission for that, because maintainer track submissions are still open. Moving on. AI rules, we did some work on that. Things kind of stalled. I don't know where they're at right now. Mario is working on a lot of that. Establishing a process to prevent duplication in LWKT articles, not something that we're actively working on. And SIG infra budget special blog is something that we would love to do at some point, but it's blocked on two fronts. One is blog reviewing, and two is the infra SIG having time to talk to us. So that's the blocked and waiting column. Welcome, welcome, folks who are joining in now.
Oh,
We are
Natish, hello.
Welcome. It's been a while.
Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Grace. I'm just here to say the happy birthday to Kubernetes project for the 11th year. It's 6th June. So I just remember right now. And the meeting was
Oh,
happening,
Awesome.
so I thought it's the best way to.
It is
not to you,
Kubernetes
Chris.
birthday today, too. Yes.
Apparently, it's also Chris's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you. Kubernetes and I share something in common.
Maybe we should post on social media about this.
I mean, we could.
At least the Kubernetes part.
At least the Kubernetes part for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Nitish, for popping in and telling us that. I would not have thought about that. So much going on. Interesting. Wonderful, wonderful. We will continue on with the board. Feel free to interrupt at any time. Like I said at the beginning of the call, very casual. So PR review, working group policy spotlight blog. Let's see where that's at right now. This is an Arujval blog that was in progress. Tim Bannister had actually looked at it. The changes were approved, but it's still open. It doesn't look like it's been. Alrighty, I need to sign in to make any changes to that, so I'll figure that out. Which screen are you all looking at now?
The board.
Board. Okay. All right. I'm logging in so that I can make changes to this item on the board. There we go. All right. Back at it. So LGTM had gotten in, approved. I don't know if there's anything that I can do. Oh, I could remove the hold, but that might be on there for a reason. But I still want to comment about it. I guess I should actually look at the comments first to see if they said when they wanted to schedule and publish it. They just mentioned it 2 weeks ago. So I'll just do a reminder. Cool. So I added a comment there. It looks like it's just waiting to be unheld based on whatever schedule the docs team wants to go with there. Policy working group spotlight was also ready for review. Also an Arujval. Wait, that's the same one. Working group policy spotlight blog. All right. So we've covered the PR review column. Moving into preliminary review. Which is the stage where people just read the thing and review it, not on GitHub. Looks like the SIG infra blog was ready for that. There's no link in here, but there is an issue which was closed as not planned. Looks like it's kind of in a holding pattern. We'll see. What's up with this now? Slackbot documentation. Chris, you had noted that there weren't
Yeah.
big differences between yours and the old doc, and
Yeah. I don't know what else would need to be added, to be honest, either. Like, we did a good job of linking to the files that need to be edited to do things. So, yeah,
maybe
I don't.
just a link to it somewhere more visible in our repo or something.
That can be done.
Yeah. Just to make sure that we can actually find it when we need to. It is in contributor comms automation announcement guidelines.
hmm
So I think that's a pretty reasonable place, really.
Wait, you want it in contributor comms automation? That's already there.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's what I was noticing was that that's where it is. So
Yeah.
that's probably fine then if we want to go ahead and move that to done because it's
Yeah,
already
I would.
closed or reopened.
It
I guess
got
that was reopened.
reopened.
So,
Mario
yeah.
seemed to have an idea that there was more to it, and there's not.
Eh, I'm sure we discussed it and thought there was something going on that wasn't.
Yeah.
Cool. We're gonna go ahead and call this good. How many months did it take us to find that document?
Well, I found it
Is basically all this came up
relatively.
with.
Yeah, I found it. I just didn't take the time to diff it until earlier this week. And it's just like the only thing that really changed was grammar and links to images. So,
Okie
yeah,
dokie.
it's time to close it. Well,
Marked as done. Moving on. Preliminary review. Zapier automation. There was some interest in doing some more work on documenting Zapier stuff. Arpit was going to help you out with it theoretically.
yeah. There's so much in there now, though.
Hmm.
Mm. It's we need to do it, but I need to think of a better way to do it, potentially.
Oh, it's like a zip file that I just
Yes, it
downloaded.
is a zip file.
I'll look at that later. No, I won't.
It's closed as not planned, so that's good.
It's just because like it got the life cycle
Life
rotten
cycle rotten.
tag
Yeah.
added
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It changes infrequently, but when there are changes, there's a lot because it's usually for all the accounts. So
Yeah. We should probably put
yeah.
a guide into the automation thing.
I mean, I
Oh
don't
my gosh,
disagree
your
with
shirt
that.
is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Max really
Anyone,
likes this shirt. That's why I wear it.
if you can't see, it appears to be Kubernetes logos in the sky with a Nyan Cat version of Fippy, who is a CNCF mascot.
Yep.
Excellent. Superb.
There was one sitting there at KubeCon London, and I just like grabbed it.
Wow.
Yeah. Every time I wear it, Max is like, "That's so cool."
Anyway, so there is more work to be done on this. Shall I reopen it?
Yeah. I would really like an AI tool to do this for me, but I haven't had time to
Figuring that
investigate
out.
that.
Yeah, figuring that out takes time
Mm,
too.
yeah, sure does.
That works. Okie dokie. And then the last thing in preliminary review was the steering spotlight blog, which I know was drafted. Final draft has been shared with Frederico 3 weeks ago, and there should be a PR relatively soon. assuming that we're still moving forward with that. Federico, do you want to add anything to the steering spotlight blog status? Probably good then.
Oh, some Zapier
Hmm.
runs that failed.
Good reminder to check on that.
Yeah, they failed. When did they fail? Show me only failures. Oh, I can't. My gosh, stopped with an error. Oh, Google Drive to YouTube. Oh, that's a problem.
Womp.
This happened back on May 20th, though.
Alrighty. Well, good luck with figuring that out. I'm going to move on to the in progress column of our board.
Thanks.
Create better processes for other comms leads. This is about leads like the maintainer summit comms lead, assuming that is a role that exists in the future, which I believe it should, though it might just be handled by our team. But we definitely need community comms about the maintainer summits. But we don't really have the concept of a leadership team for that because it's managed in such tight coordination with the CNCF that there are like chairs of it and stuff now. So the organizational structure of that has changed, but we do still need comms for that. But there's still a separate comms lead for release, who we want to better enable if we can. So I'm not actually doing anything on that right now and won't be able to take up anything until after KubeCon Japan. But yeah, maybe I should move that to blocked and waiting.
Okay, so
Do that.
yes. So the error in Zapier is because somebody put a zip file in the directory? That seems weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have
That sounds
access
worth
to this.
documenting.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
The
Weird.
next in progress item is the spotlight on SIG auth. Frederico, do you want to give any updates?
I mean, yeah. Hello. I don't think
And there's
there's
also an
any.
Avni thing, who is also here.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't think that there's updates from last week because this is now being answered by the SIG owner. So we've already shared the document, and I would say that we're still 1-2 weeks away from poking them to get the status. At least 1 week, because this was sent just before the update last week. So 1 week is it's a very little time window for insisting. I would say next week is fine.
Sounds reasonable. Avni, anything you want to add to that? Does that sound accurate?
No, nothing.
Thank you for working on that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Evan.
No, you're welcome.
Wonderful. And the next spotlight is SIG autoscaling.
No, yeah, another insistence, still no concrete answer, a couple of mild reactions, but still no commitment to go forward. I will continue 1-2 weeks at most, and if not, I will drop the request.
Sounds good. It's not a bad thing for us to drop blogs at the moment since
Yeah.
the blogging review team is under such pressure right now.
Yeah.
So, has its
Um,
benefits. Either way.
yeah, it's still pending. Or we're still reviewing the changes, considering the last release. So still a bit of work there because of the time. So there were like 4 or 5 months since the interview. We're reviewing that. No updates there. But there's something that I was asked, and maybe before I forget, let me ask everyone here. Someone reached out to me privately to ask if I knew what were the permissions needed to create a project board, because someone wanted to create a blog for website, not for contributor site, right? Likely they asked me because someone showed them our board. I suspect.
Reasonable.
And
Yeah.
that's me. If I knew who could create a project board, I said that I wasn't sure. I likely was able to create it because either it existed or I created it, but at the time I had release team privileges, so it's a bit confusing exactly to know if it was due to that or something else. But I did say that someone from the owners lists in the website repository would likely be a good bet in terms of creating or adding permissions. But perhaps I've missed something. If there's some other um,
That would be my guess
policy
as
around
well.
it. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, boards are not super commonly used throughout the project, as far as I'm aware. So it's kind of a ad hoc thing if a group wants one, just kind of figuring out how it works.
Yeah,
I know the original lead of this team is the one who started the board thing in the early days of there being GitHub boards.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
never really did that much with it, so
Yeah, but for example, the release team moved into a board from the Excel file for enhancements. So there's a bit more board usage today compared with 5 years ago, but completely agreed with you. It's but yeah, but the question was made. I think the answer was pretty decent, and I'll keep my eyes open just in case there's something else. But in any way, either way, the idea of that there will be a board about blogs. Maybe it links with the strategy being pursued in terms of maximizing the amount of work done by the team and stuff like that. So I likely ping some other people from SIG blogs as well.
sounds excellent. We could also ask in SIG ContribEx in case anyone else from
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that
the
first.
co-chairs, like the GitHub admins, they might know more
Yeah.
than I do.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm glad to hear that that's something they're considering. It can work well. Certainly works well for us, I think,
Yeah,
with our
and that's it
blogs.
for me. I don't think I have any more updates out of the top of my head.
There's also, did you talk about SIG architecture? Was that the last one you were talking about?
Yes,
And then
exactly. Yeah,
SIG cluster lifecycle
yeah.
is
And
another one that's on the
cluster
list.
life cycle is that one. I know we talked about it last time, but I
Looks
don't
like
think it's actively
Nishita.
being. Yeah,
Should I put it to blocked and waiting?
yeah. I think so. It's like the third week we're having this conversation, so I believe it's better.
That's how this works. Spotlight on the Security Response Committee.
Yeah, I mean, don't move it yet because I'm still waiting for another round of emails this time that I sent.
Yeah.
So if by this time next week I don't have an answer, then we should just move it to canceled or block or something.
Sounds good. And then SIGDoc Spotlight. Planning to get this going after KubeCon. This is an RPIT one.
Yeah.
So
I'm
leave
going to
that
go
there
mute
for
now, okay? Because I'm entering some place very noisy, but I'm listening.
Sounds good. And then the last one here was a kubectl spotlight, which is something that I told Arpit that he should totally do, but was at the bottom of his list of several spotlights. So if he finishes up the doc spotlight, he might move on to that one. But it is claimed, so I think it's fine where it is in terms of columns. Moving on to the to-do column, we're actually going to get through all the main parts of the board. Only things we didn't look at were don't and won't fix, or done and won't fix. Don't and won't fix. So to do new contributor story blog series. This is an idea that comes up every now and then of how do we tell the stories of contributors and what it took for them to become contributors and what their journeys were like, because it's different for every individual. We had Bart Farrell on the team at one point who really enjoys making videos. So he made a little video series interviewing people about this. So an idea came up at looks like the beginning of this year to do these as blogs. It just takes someone to own it and drive it. Arujval was interested in it. He has been doing lots of blogs, but it seems like this one hasn't picked up. New contributor orientation blog. Our Pit had made one here, and it was really, really long, and he was trying to figure out what to do with it. He split it into 2. I'm not sure what the current situation on that is. Spotlight on SIG apps is one of those spotlights that we haven't done, so maybe someday when we have more blog reviewers, hopefully. Same on SIG scalability. SIG UI also looks like this one got started a little bit. Arujval was working on it. I've reopened it and then it got closed again. So that tells you something.
Yeah. That's a rough one.
We did make some updates to the automated lifecycle processes in GitHub over the last year or so that makes them a little bit more aggressive, I think, in closing things out, which I am thankful for. SIG security, we've attempted to work on this before. Not active right now. And various access audits, evergreen thing that we could pick up at any time. We won't, but we could. All right, so we've made it through the board. We have 12 minutes left. Is there anything else folks want to talk about? Thank you very much for adding the birthday to the big wins. I think we discussed this
Sure.
last year that your birthday was Kubernetes' birthday.
Yes. Kubernetes is now 11. Can't wear that 10-year anniversary shirt anymore, I guess.
Absolutely should. It's also GKE's 10-year anniversary this year, so I get to do
Oh,
more
wow.
10-year anniversary.
Yay.
That's in August. We'll see what comes with that. Cool. If there's nothing else, then I think we've accomplished our purpose here, and I can stop the recording. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll say goodbye to our friends on YouTube. Bye, YouTube.